So, what are some, I guess, financial stocks that you guys are currently buying, selling, or interested
I
in?
guess, Efe, you want to go first? Or you want me to?
Why don't you go first? Because it's more like up your alley.
It is more up my alley. Um, yeah. So I'm a big fan. I've talked about this a few times about U.S. bank stocks like your U.S. brick and mortar. Ally Bank's a longtime favorite of mine. I did entirely miss their earnings last week though, so I can't really speak on that one. But I watched like PNC beat earnings, Bank of America beat
Hmm.
earnings, Citigroup with that 20,000 layoffs to try and restructure the company. I've never been a big fan of Citi personally. I can't really explain why, but PNC, especially, I've been in love with that dividend for a long time, and then seeing them beat earnings like what 316, 326 a share versus Wall Street analysts closer to 290, especially with those fourth quarter charge offs that all your FDIC insured banks saw in the fourth quarter. Like, they're, in my opinion, that looks like a strong balance sheet.
Hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. You know that majority of the layoffs, though, are related to like non-US jobs. Like,
I
apparently there's like a Mexico retail unit.
hmm, I did not know that.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
just checking. Or is it like in addition to that? I'm just checking right now. Okay, sorry, my bad. So it says in addition to the 20,000 job cuts at the company's operations, the bank said it will shed 40,000 employees from its Mexico retail unit through an IPO, bringing the total headcount from for the company around 180 from 240. That's like 20% cuts,
yeah,
which is massive,
wow.
right?
Um, I know. I mean, to even keep going. I think I was reading today. I might be totally wrong about this, but I read a rumor, unsubstantiated, of course, that Morgan Stanley is getting close to layoffs too.
Mhm.
Really, it's just kind of like so popular to lay off these days. I think they've seen that the market doesn't react negatively to these layoffs, and they just keep going. I think.
That was actually what I was going to bring up with you, Fa, because you and I talked about this when Spotify announced their layoffs a few months back. Because I was like, man, these layoffs just feel convenient. You were the one who, I guess, knocked some sense into me. Um, be like, no, it's because right. I mean, everybody can lay off right now because it's okay. So
Yeah, it's
it
like the
is,
culture shifted really from investors really want to see like 5 6 years ago they always wanted to see growth, and like employee count was one of those metrics that they were looking at.
hmm,
And then after COVID, I feel like they've decided that that is no longer a metric they are following, because they've seen that the public reacts positively even to layoff news. Like when Amazon first like cut all those jobs, people just said like, oh yeah, cut the crowd, and then like I don't know, make it profitable. And there's like a huge push between all these companies to now like be profit driven instead of just like relying on investments and stuff. There's a giant shift, I feel like, within the startup and well company community, like culture.
I don't like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to ask your opinion on this anyway. And John, please feel free also. Do you think Elon Musk had a hand in that? Because, like, I mean, he came in Twitter and he cleaned what 80% of house.
Could be, but I feel like by the time that he had done that, stock market has already been like going down
Yeah.
quite a bit, and Amazon was like 50% down at the time. So like it was already happening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
was just curious your thoughts.
He
Right.
just maybe aggravated it, but I don't think he caused it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He might have made it worse, definitely. But
Yeah.
Because
I
I
was gonna
know,
say though, I think like a lot of banks actually reported less than expected like profits or earnings, right? Like so far year to date.
yeah,
So for Q4, this also includes like JP Morgan Chase and stuff. So I think we were talking like maybe half an hour ago with you, Joseph. Like you were saying that there was this one-time fee that they paid to FDIC for this like Silicon Valley
yeah,
mess. For the case of JP Morgan, they actually paid upwards of $3 billion.
yeah.
That's massive. So I'm wondering if it's kind of like a temporary thing, like that's more really directly related to that sort
Oh
of
yeah,
expense.
it very much is because that I mean that was a one-time charge because such a massive bank failed. Because I mean
Mhm.
every single one of your FDIC insured banks, from I mean from your Synchrony to your Bank of America, Wells Fargo, PNC, Citi, they all incurred that same
Mm.
charge, of course in proportion with assets, but
Yeah.
It's nothing to it's not zero. It's nothing to shake a stick at. But
I guess it doesn't mean that the retail spending is like all-time low. We are
yeah.
screwed. We are doomed. Bank's not gonna make any penny. Like it's just really more temporary.
Well, I actually kind of on that subject as well. I think a lot of analysts, at least what I was reading on like Market Watch, a lot of people aren't really caring about Q4 profit numbers, but somewhere like we've also seen, especially with like Nike, recently, I know they got beat bad for it. We're seeing a lot of negative economic outlook.
Mm.
Like I think it was Wells Fargo dropped hard. Maybe it might have been Bank of America too, because they were like, yeah, don't expect much this year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like you're right. The economy, there's definitely like the sentiment going around that the economy is bad already. It's like gas prices, for example, where I live, it's like $4 at this point. It's quite. It's not really indicative of the economy as a whole, but definitely spending that goes somewhere.
Mhm.
But we were talking before this call. It's like I think we were saying the pay over time stuff that has come to the U.S. over the last year, kind of like an indication of a weaker economy.
Oh, you
Sure.
mean like a firm, like yeah, the buy now, pay
Installments.
later?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all do that now. So like PayPal does that, Affirm does that. Everybody basically
Everyone
just
knows that.
suddenly decided to support that, and they have that's been a thing for like almost a century in other countries, and it hasn't been made available in the U.S.
Yeah.
Why wasn't it made available in the U.S.? Maybe there was no demand for it, but now there is. What does that tell you?
I mean, I can say two things. One, did you see Affirm? They're up like 190% in the last year. It is their growth is ridiculous. Actually, I don't know if the three of us ever talked about this. I used to do predatory installment lending, which is basically the exact same thing but brick and mortar, and also we dealt with a lot more money on average. I think the reason we didn't see this is because like chains like that. I'm trying to think like Regional Finance was our biggest, World Financial, Omni Financial, places like that who are publicly traded. I think they put up so much of a stink because make no mistake, apps like Affirm are hitting their bottom line hard, or if they're not yet, they're going to. Because I can't tell you how many $500 loans we did out that that come in and go out the door for frivolous spending, to put it the nice way. But I mean that doesn't, they don't walk into a installment or subprime or payday lender anymore. When they can just click two buttons on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's cheaper, right? To some extent.
I think to some extent is the range, because if you amortize out that interest rate over the course of a year, you annualize it, it's still, I think average is still like plus 40%. It's way more. It's more than double your average credit card.
Okay, because isn't payday loans like almost 20-30% bi-weekly though? Like
yes.
Well, it's hard cash though for one thing, right? Like it's an emergency measure. This is like you're buying a expensive watch. It's definitely not as justifiable. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's an interesting topic, and there's like so many different opinions. There's so many different like data and articles. I don't think I'm sufficiently knowledgeable enough to understand the like how much money is at the end of the day left in the average US, like average Joe basically right now. Like do they have enough money in the pockets to invest even, or like after catching up with mortgage, obviously their mortgage payments went up quite a bit. Their car payments went up. I guess the wages aren't growing at the same speed.
No.
Yeah, I think it was like 65% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which is a crazy amount.
Yeah,
like more than half the country.
Which is fun. We're still sitting on what is the federal funds rate right now? 5 to 5.5,
something like that, I guess. Yeah.
And like you said, John, if anyone had an arm going into 2020 or going into 2022, I don't even want to know what they're dealing with right now.
You're right. Yeah.
But to bring the topic around also to something a little happier, Efe, I think it was you and I who discussed this as well. And John, this would be a great topic for you. Your Royal Bank of Canada, is it TD Bank, also in Canada? They've got betas less than 1.
Yeah.
I did not know that until, again, I'm pretty sure it was you, Efe, who had me look it up.
Yeah, it's not kind of eye-opening. Like it's much there's much more potential than your US conventional banks there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like when I looked that up, I first looked at, of course, PNC, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, who were all in like the 1 to 1.5 range, but then Royal Bank of Canada, ticker RY for everybody at home, is like 0.85.
0.85.
Let's see here. According to Yahoo Finance, 0.83. Not bad for me pulling a number off the top of my head.
No, definitely. I think they're number 1 and 2 in Canada in terms of retail banking, and RBC is pretty big in Caribbean historically. TD is more bigger in the US, but RBC is also penetrating into US, especially for Canadians like snowbirds that are moving to, like Florida or other places, like buying a second mortgage, like a investment property or something, or a summer house. They facilitate loans for that. And there's also a retail element too for cross-border banking. So definitely interesting tickers. Definitely. They're both in TSX, Toronto Stock Exchange, but they're also traded in NASDAQ too. Like you said, RY for Royal Bank, and TD's TD, I think, right? TD.
I think so. It's either TD or TDA.
TD.
No, just TD.
Yeah.
I'm thinking TD Ameritrade, another US bank.
They offer healthy dividends too, not as much as Bank of Scotia, I think, but still like substantial dividends. So I think TD is like close to 5%. Royal Bank, can't remember.
See, Royal Bank, I've got it pulled up right in front of me now, and it's Royal Bank is 4.1% yield.
Pretty good.
For a company that also returned, pushing 25% over the last 5 years.
Right.
That's not bad at all. If you're looking for, not investment advice.
Yeah.
If you're, that should really be the name of this podcast. If you're looking for, a stable dividend yield, it doesn't look half bad, or at least from my perspective, unless I'm missing something. If there's anybody in the chat or who can comment on this, please let me know if I'm just wrong.
And I guess both stocks and more Canadian stocks can be tracked from the Great White North hub, right? marketplace.com/Great White North. That's more dedicated to Canadian.
Yeah, that's
stocks.
a good one.
Yep.
I think whereas financial stocks is my child, I think Great White North is John's.
Yeah.
I like nuclear energy, not gonna lie.
Nuclear energy, yes, it's your baby.
And it's up too. Actually, it's down 2.5% over a week. But that's not, well, 1.73 over 1 month. That's not too bad.
What did the market index return though? I'm gonna pull that card on you.
Yeah. No, okay. I still like it.
I'm not telling you no, because John, you were gone for this. We did do an episode just on nuclear energy.
Yes. Yeah, I watched it. 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Yes, I had to think of the dates in my head. This is the 3rd episode, and I was surprised at how much long-term play there was in nuclear energy.
Yeah, I definitely believe in that.
I'm that rural American pilled. Nuclear energy is going to go nowhere. Chernobyl. But Efe enlightened me. I'll give it to him.
Well, thanks. If I was helpful at all. Not financial advice, but
I'm not gonna. I didn't go home and buy anything. But I getting back to today's topic. Looking ahead, Visa tomorrow.
I was gonna say it's the largest market cap in the stock markets. That'll release the earnings. Honestly, my common sense says Q4 Christmas spending globally, retail-wise, it was a good year, right? Or a good time of the year, I guess. But then it doesn't always translate that way to earnings. So I guess we're gonna be finding out tomorrow. But Visa and MasterCard in general, I think they're not dead yet. I think there's still money to be made at them. Like we were alluding, like buy now, pay later. There's lots of like crypto-based cards. There's a lot of expansion into underbanked regions like Africa, Latin America. So I think not forgetting these are global companies is key when it comes to Visa and MasterCard. Some people just are very much like North America or US centric, thinking that, okay, there's like new payment options, like there's no money in the pockets of people, there's going to be less spending. These are these guys are like mafia, basically, like set the prices and it's like duopoly and stuff. But at the same time, like I think globally speaking, they have like great footprint and they also support like sustainability. They work with the local government. They're like ginormous companies. So I guess to some extent they have better outreach globally than most largest banks in the world.
I can definitely agree with you on that. That international development is definitely the growth opportunity, because I'm with you on I'm very excited to see the retail spending numbers. Because I mean, both Visa and MasterCard, they've got this whole business model thing figured out. They win no matter what. But that expansion, I mean, it's you get more customers is where the money's at. Shocking. Put me in a business school case study with that take, but because I think MasterCard, if I remember correctly, is set for the 31st of January. Yes. But yeah, since this is kind of a shorter podcast, we kind of got to keep hopping from topic to topic. So, did you guys see the PayPal CEO? What he had to say?
Yes. What I was going to talk about actually today, it's like it's kind of crazy. Well, I don't know what to expect. It's like maybe he's just hyping it too much, but if he's hyping it too much, then his stock is going to take a hit. So I'm assuming he does actually have something good to talk about. And I was thinking like maybe because it's an older Elon Musk company, there's like a thing between them and one of the Elon Musk companies. I don't know.
I'm very curious because it was a 9:30 Eastern this Thursday. Correct?
Yeah, tomorrow, right?
No, because
No.
today's Tuesday.
Right, that's right.
Big announcement, they're going to change the world again, which Peter Thiel out there is probably jumping for joy with all of his PayPal stock. Which,
Yeah.
do you know the story of that?
No, unlike us.
Peter Thiel, the former CEO of PayPal, I think maybe the first CEO of PayPal, before PayPal went public, he exercised so many options inside his Roth IRA, all for PayPal stock, at like a penny a share. So, and now that PayPal's trading what in the 50-60 range, and I think even a few share splits later, let's see if his Roth IRA, all tax free, of course, because it's a Roth, was worth $1,664 in 1999, and today it is worth over $5 billion.
Oh, that's quite the amount.
He played the system hard and won.
Maybe that's the shocking thing they're doing.
That they're gonna take it all back.
Yeah.
I'd get a good laugh out of that, but I'm like, I don't know if this is people just. Of course, X is full of Elon Musk simps.
Oh yeah.
Shocking. I know, hot take again there. But a lot of people on X, since he did tweet the announcement, didn't do a press release, are saying it's going to be an X PayPal team up, because there's also that rumor that Elon Musk wants to start stock trading with X.
Okay. Well, if that happens, great.
We're just gonna act like that's not exactly what we're trying to build.
Hey, I mean, whatever helps the investors,
I mean, no, whatever helps us. Come on, no. MarketPlays.com. Sign up for free.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll see what they're gonna announce. I hadn't thought of that actually, so it's you might be right.
Because didn't PayPal also like semi recently release a stablecoin?
I made it like Q4 sometime. Yeah.
Was it that recent?
I think so.
They need a stablecoin.
Go ahead, Efe, enlighten us on crypto, please. I really enjoyed that last week.
PYUSD, I think it's called. Yeah.
They literally named the stablecoin. That's hilarious. How stable is a stablecoin exactly?
I mean, in theory, if you do it right, it should be the easiest free money in the world. Like, if you use the same liquidity requirements that we hold U.S. banks to, it should be free money.
Oh, wait.
However,
I see. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
like if you peg it to the US dollar and you do 1 for 1, like you take in $1, you give a coin, you take in $1, you give a coin, and then and then you take those coins and invest them in like at least semi-liquid or like very safe assets,
Mhm.
kind of like US government bonds and T-bills. It should be free money. Keyword. Like it's
That's
not
what. This is what Tether is. It's the same thing as Tether. You know what Tether
Concept
is?
is the same. I think Tether is also pegged to the USD. Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
It should be free money. It's here. Just recently though, I think it was USDC, maybe, or maybe that's several stable coins have collapsed lately.
Oh, really?
Or over the last year.
Tether is still going, right? It's the backbone of BTC, really.
Heather, I do not know.
My question is, Joseph, though, like, let's just say PayPal stablecoin, why would you buy it as an investment or as a transfer method? Because PayPal's main proposition is cross-border transfers, right?
In my opinion, well, as with any, if you're pinning if you're pinning a stable coin to the US dollar, in theory, it will always be worth 1 USD, whether you buy it today or you buy it 10 years from now. And USD, as all fiat currencies, are depreciating currencies. That's just how the world works, especially if you're post World War II Germany. But
like before Bretton Woods or something, right? Before the USD standard, there was like gold standard or something, that type of thing. Okay.
So if you're buying it, it has to be for transfers or it has to be for international payment. I don't see it or how you would use it as an investment because assuming it is pegged, it's just a riskier way to hold.
So instead of keeping your money in USD, you buy a stable coin and you send back and forth stable coins. Like let's just say Efe and I, we want to transfer money to each other. Let's just say he's in Germany. I send him a stable coin. He can convert it to fiat and use it.
That's definitely one thing. I guess my other question is, when you convert from BTC to Tether, do you actually pay taxes?
That's a very good question.
I think you pay gas fees, but not taxes.
Okay, so I think that's the main use case of this thing. That
I could be
you don't want to be in anything. You just go onto Tether and then you just like trade with that.
Time out real quick.
Yeah.
None of us are CPAs, by the way.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and I don't think any of us are the most versed in crypto. So please talk to a CPA, talk to an accountant before you assume there are no taxes on your crypto exchange.
Yeah, I'm not. Exactly. No, not financial advice, obviously. just talking here.
Just friendly chats.
just 3 friends chatting who happen to be doing it on recording.
Yeah. Well, I just learned something though, literally while we were talking. I've understood the use case of stablecoins. I really honestly thought that it was still an investment thing, whereas it seems like it's more like a storage thing almost.
Which actually, we just got a comment in the chat. I say just, I haven't been checking the chat as much as I probably should have. Hi, Charter. He asked, isn't Tether tied to the USD? And I think we agreed yes, didn't we? Okay. Yeah, perfectly paid. Wow.
Cool. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the PayPal thing is.
I'm very excited because PayPal owns Venmo as well. So if they could, I like PayPal. I like PayPal a lot as a user. If they could also buy out Zelle, I'd be so happy. I love Zelle. John, do you have Zelle in Canada?
I know it though from like Facebook and stuff. From videos.
Cash App, right?
Yeah.
Charter, no worries at all. You could also have not told me that. I am not checking chat as much as I should be. He just said sorry. I asked right before you said that. No worries. Thank you for being, as always. Thank you just for being here and watching.
Yeah, I appreciate that definitely.
always very much appreciated.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I guess any closing thoughts, John, Efe?
I guess like food for thought, I guess like just a question. Like since we are talking about like conventional banks versus like crypto stable coins, like do you see like way ahead in the future, like post medium term, these stable coins becoming a real potential like revenue risk for conventional banks? Because cross-border transfers is where the money, like where the banks really get you, right? Like, try to transfer USD from say Germany to France, it goes through like a beneficiary bank. There's like gazillion cuts basically. Let's just say 10,000 would cost you like $200 to send. Now with stable coins, it's instant, almost free. Tax, I guess, is blurry, but like you guys said, most likely it's okay. So like, how would like Bank of America compete with this?
Well, out of curiosity, I'm also going to play a little devil's advocate right here. My editor for my YouTube videos is in the UK, and I pay him using PayPal, and I mean, the most money I think I've ever sent him at a time was $400. And I think I paid $1.99 for that transaction. And that PayPal converted it. He had no fees on it.
That's nothing, right? Compared to a bank. Yeah.
So when we talk about like these stable coins and using them cross border, I'm kind of like, how is this different from what PayPal already does?
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I say, got another message in chat. Using crypto isn't instant for what I've seen. It takes hours to days at least.
Oh, that's another good point. I guess it's not black or white.
Yeah. I've heard that as well.
Yeah. I mean, also, like we spoke on the crypto podcast, is that it's just anxiety inducing to me whenever I send some money through my crypto, because there's no regulation or anything. If something goes wrong, it's just, if you enter the address wrong, and that money's gone. You're not getting that back.
Which kind of, John, aren't you like somewhat familiar with, speaking of just regulation in crypto, aren't you somewhat familiar with Coinbase?
I kind of am. I'm not sure how much I can reveal, but I'm kind of like part of their card setup, which is like, crypto to fiat authorization. When you use your Coinbase card for POS and ATM transactions from your Coinbase balance. So I work at a company that provides that card service to them.
I'm just looking it up because I just saw something about that, because maybe regulation's on the way, maybe it's not. Maybe we'll never know.
Coinbase had a really tough year. I'm not gonna lie. Like 2023, I think they've seen mass layoffs to like up to 40%. Mainly San Francisco from their HQ and some other places too. But like, yeah, they had a really rough year last year, which is expected, I guess. But for already a borderline like startup to medium level company, because they're not like super established, right? I mean, they're established, but they're not ginormous like MasterCard. Losing such talents in such short span of time is also hard to recover, I guess, to some extent.
That I'm also curious, just kind of, this may be a little off topic. We start wrapping this up pretty soon. Coinbase, I think, as a crypto industry, a lot of the general public has lost a lot of faith. Especially after like FTX, I mean, how many crypto scams have we seen in the last 5-10 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's still retail driven, right? I think the interest is still there because like the other I mean, the thing with Coinbase, I think just like crypto.com, but even further, like everybody knows about Coinbase, right? There's also like smaller exchanges, but I think Coinbase is the exchange still largely, despite the lack of trust. I mean, like even grandmothers know that. I think you were saying that your mother knows Coinbase.
Yes.
So they have a good leadership, I would say, like charismatic leadership. They've got good PR, cool company, good name, Coinbase. I think there's good capital behind it. I don't know if you guys knew, but it is actually a Y Combinator alumni too. I think 2014 or something. So like they really had this like mini startup to like ginormous, like big market cap, 29-30 billion market cap within like 5-6 years through many different rounds of like funding. So I mean, it's a success story, but at the same time, I understand what you mean. Like it's really like retail dependence, and things can go one way or another literally instantly. If there's one scandal, they might be gone. Not just retail trust wise, but also company might be shut down. It's still a sensitive area, I would say.
Yeah, it seems like the SEC is like just waiting.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, before John and I tangent again, Efe, any closing thoughts?
No, I think we covered everything we want to talk about.
All right. Well, with that said, hey, thank you all to everyone who tuned into live. And thank you also to everyone listening to the recording of this, whether you're on YouTube or a streaming platform. Please like the video. Comment down below, what is your favorite bank stock? Do you trust Coinbase? Rate us 5 stars, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that. And hey, if you're again listening to the recording, come check us live Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern on MarketPlays' YouTube channel. And yeah, I think my last little shill, come join marketplays.com. Come join the conversation where investors come to meet and make better decisions together.
Yep. Waiting for you there.
All right. And we'll see you all next week.
All right. See ya.
Take care, everyone.